Tip number 1. The very first tip you need to know in order to speak English fluently is to immerse yourself in English. Once again, immerse yourself in English. Now, what does this mean? It means that you, my friend, need to surround yourself with English speakers and content. But don't get nervous, don't get frustrated, don't get worried. Maybe you live in a country where there are not a lot of English speakers around you. You still can use this tip. Why? Because you can watch movies, listen to podcasts, and read books in English. Your brain is absolutely amazing. You're already able to speak your mother tongue. So all you have to do now is provide information in different formats to your brain in English. Why is this so beneficial? You see, this accelerates understanding and fluency by natural exposure to the language in various contexts. I learned to speak Korean. 안녕하세요 for those that are Korean. And when I was learning Korean, I had tons upon tons of books. But my fluency did not go to the next level until I started doing what? You guessed it. Watching movies in Korean, listening to podcasts in Korean, and doing what? Reading books in Korean. So the same is true for you, my friend. Now, I want to help you actually find these things. So what I've done is I actually have a list, and I want to tell you my favorite movie. That's right. And you can actually watch the movie too. It's in English. My favorite movie is The Sound of Music. And just to let you know, the hills are alive with the sound of music. That's one of the songs from the movie. But this movie is absolutely amazing. Why is this a great movie for you to watch as an English learner in order to improve your English fluency? Well, in this one movie, you will find drama. You will find comedy. You will find so many different types of situations in this one movie. And what's going to happen? It's going to help you improve your English fluency. Now, this is my favorite movie, but I also really enjoy certain podcasts. Podcasts are a great way for you to improve your English and immerse yourself in English. You can download podcasts to your phone, to your computer, to your tablet, or whichever device you currently use. And one of the podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis, I mean every single week, is the Waveform podcast. Again, I want you to take notes so that you can check out the movie, the podcast, and the book that I'm mentioning. Now, the Waveform podcast, this podcast is really all about technology. So if you want to know about the latest cell phone that came out, the latest computer that came out, or anything dealing with technology, you can check out this podcast every week. I love the podcast. I'm a native English speaker, and man, is it interesting. So think about how much more interesting it will be for you. Not only will you learn a lot about technology, you'll also learn new words, expressions, and idioms. And the book, woo, my friend, the book that I want to introduce you to is this book right here. The book is called Grit: The Power of Passion and Perseverance. It's by Angela Duckworth. Again, the book title is Grit: The Power of Passion and Perseverance. Now, this book is going to really help you improve your English fluency, but also encourage you as an English learner. It talks about the importance of giving 110% in order to achieve your goals. And you have many English goals. So, for our first tip, again, it's important for you to immerse yourself in English, watching movies, listening to podcasts, and reading books. Now, before we go to our second tip, I am Tiffani, also known as Teacher Tiffani, and my goal is to help you speak English with confidence. Are you ready to continue? Well then, let's jump right in. All right, tip number 2, another important one. My friend, you have to practice speaking regularly. I want you to repeat after me, regularly. Yes. Now, why is this important? Here's the thing. You see, in order to speak English regularly, it means you have to engage in conversations with native speakers or other learners, or speak to yourself in the mirror. You heard me right. There are 3 different ways you can practice speaking English regularly. First, speaking with other native English speakers. Maybe you have a tutor. Maybe you have a friend who speaks English. Secondly, you can speak with other English learners. We're talking about helping you speak English more fluently. And the third way is for you to actually start speaking to yourself in the mirror. I know it might sound weird and I know it might feel strange, but this can really help you improve your English. I had one of my students who actually started doing this, and her husband would say, "What are you doing?" A few months later, he said, "My goodness, your English has improved so much." What's the goal of this lesson? To help you speak English more fluently. Now, why is this so important? What is the main benefit of tip number 2? It improves your pronunciation, enhances your speaking confidence, and it aids in acquiring conversational skills. These things are very important for you if you are trying to speak English fluently. Now, I want to give you some examples of how you can start implementing this tip today. So, here's what I want you to do. There are 2 options. The first option is for the morning. Now, in the morning, this is what you could do. You could ask someone one thing they did the previous day and then say what you did. This is very simple, right? Have a conversation with someone. Maybe you are in person, or maybe you're speaking to them via an application on your phone, right? But record a voice note if you're using your phone. You want to ask them, "Hey, tell me one thing you did the previous day," and then you also share what you did. Now, the second example that you can use is the evening. So if you decide to do the evening, what you can do is share the best thing that happened to you today. Again, share the best thing that happened to you today. I'm actually going to tell you the best thing that happened to me yesterday. This is true. So my niece, she is 14 years old and she has just started playing volleyball. This is not story time. Story time is coming later, okay? But my niece has just started playing volleyball. I think she's had about 6 or 7 games. Now, my niece is a basketball player, but she was very interested in playing volleyball. So she's learning. She's a freshman. But this freshman, now I'm an auntie, so of course I'm proud of her. But this freshman, listen, my friend, my niece is killing it. She is doing amazing. And I went to her game yesterday and I screamed so much, my vocal cords were sore. But I was so excited every time she made a point, every time she blocked the other team's ball. I was so excited. My sister and I, we got all the steps you need in a day just from jumping up and down. We were so excited. So again, I just told you the best thing that happened to me yesterday. You can tell someone the best thing that happened to you yesterday or today. Remember, the goal is to what? Practice speaking regularly. You got it. I love it. All right. Let's now move on to tip number 3. Tip number 3. Now, this is also very important. You need to keep a vocabulary journal. I want you to say it after me. Keep a vocabulary journal. Your turn. Excellent. Now let me break down this tip. Keeping a vocabulary journal. You need to record new words, their meanings, and example sentences. This is so important. Once again, record the new words, write the definitions, and also example sentences. Why is this so beneficial? Again, you're trying to speak English more fluently. You're trying to improve your fluency. Here's the benefit. This enhances vocabulary retention and understanding of word usage in context. I actually want to explain something to you from my experience before I give you some examples. This literally happened to me about a month ago. Okay, this is true. Again, a native English speaker, I'm an English teacher. I was actually reviewing something. I was having worship. I'm a Christian. And I was having worship, reading the Bible and reading some commentaries. And there was one portion that really stuck out to me. It was so powerful. As I read it more than once. It really hit home. And then I remembered, hey, if I write this down, I will remember it later. If I write this down, I'll be able to retain it easier and be able to share it with someone later just by writing it down. And if you're watching this lesson, you can see behind me all of these notebooks behind me. Why? Because I always write things down because I understand how my brain works. When I write it down, I'll retain it. This is why this tip number 3 is so important. When you write things down, you'll retain the information and you'll be able to use it later on. So here's some examples of how you can do this, all right? Now, we have morning, afternoon, and evening. Here, in the morning, what you can do is you can write one new word from an article you read. One new word from an article. So, you can find any article. It can be online, it can be on your cell phone, maybe you downloaded something, or maybe it's a printed article. You can find the article wherever you'd like. But the important thing is, in the morning, read that article and write one new word in your vocabulary journal. Remember, you're gonna write the word, and you're gonna write the definition and example sentences. Now, here's what you can do in the afternoon. You can write one new word from a podcast or audio clip you listened to. Remember earlier in tip number 1, I spoke about immersing yourself in English, and I mentioned podcasts. Well, as you listen to these podcasts, you are going to hear new words, new expressions, new phrasal verbs. Write them down. You don't have to write each and every one. You can select 1, 2, or 3, right? And make sure you write the definition and the example sentences that you find online. Now, here's another way you can do this. In the evening, what you're gonna do in the evening, write one new word from a show or video you saw. Notice how this is broken down. In the morning, you are reading. In the afternoon, you are listening. In the evening, you are watching. Why? Because by the end of the day, normally you're going to be just a bit tired. So you want to kind of relax. You can still learn English while you relax. And as you watch the video, you're going to hear new words. Write the word or words down. Make sense? Excellent. All right. So now we're going to move on to tip number 4. Tip number 4. Tip number 4 is to practice writing daily. You got it. I showed you my journals earlier. Practice writing daily. Something that is very interesting is the connection between writing and speaking. Writing and speaking. Now, we're helping you in this lesson improve your English fluency. That's what I'm teaching you. Part of improving your English fluency is practicing writing every single day. Let me break this down for you. Write essays, write journal entries, or emails in English. These are just 3 examples of things you can write to improve your English fluency. Why is this so beneficial? Here we go. It improves your writing skills, your grammar, and the ability to express thoughts clearly. This is the part that I like to emphasize. your ability to express thoughts clearly. You have many thoughts, many ideas, many opinions, and the challenge you experience sometimes is how to express those thoughts, ideas, and opinions clearly in English. Well, my friend, according to tip number 4, if you practice writing daily, that skill will also improve. So let me help you out. Here we go. Here are some examples. You know I love the 5 W's. You got it? Who, what, when, where, and why. We're going to use the 5 W's as a launching pad to help you write on a regular basis. So for the who, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write about one person you met. For example, maybe you met your mother today. Write about your mom. Maybe you met your husband today. Write about your husband. You're going to write about one person you met. For the what, you're going to write about one thing you did. One thing you did. For example, about 30 minutes ago, I had to run to the store to pick up some juice. So I could write in my journal, about 11 o'clock this morning, I had to run to Target to purchase some juice. Write about what you did. Then for the when, write about the time of day you enjoyed the most and why. Think about your day. What's happening right now? You're actually organizing your thoughts. Man, let me review my day today. What did I really enjoy the most? And it's happening in English, which is going to lead to improving your fluency. And what about the where? You're going to write about one place you went. I said a few moments ago that I went to Target to buy some juice. I can talk about the Target, how when you walk in, it's just so peaceful. The staff members there are so friendly. I can write about the place I went to. Again, writing every day using the 5 W's as your prompt. And what about the why? Write one reason why you enjoyed your day. Now, this is different from when, because when is speaking about a specific time of day. Why is saying your entire day. Why did you enjoy your day? Make sense? Excellent. All right. So now we're going to move on to tip number 4. Number 5. Here we go. Tip number 5. Here we go. All right. Listen to English music and analyze the lyrics. Sneak peek, I'm about to sing to you. All right. So again, tip number 5 is listen to English music and analyze the lyrics. Let me break this down for you why this is so important. Here we go. What you're going to do is enjoy English music and study the lyrics to understand slang, idioms, and cultural expressions. My goal is to help you speak English fluently. My other goal is to help you enjoy the process. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be frustrating or boring to improve your English fluency. You just need to have the right tools and the right tips to achieve your goals. So, again, enjoy English music and study the lyrics to learn new slang, idioms, and expressions. Now, why is this such a benefit? It makes learning, like I mentioned, enjoyable and helps with memorizing phrases naturally. This is the part. Now, it doesn't matter where you're from, right? There's some music that you enjoy, right? When you hear, you just kind of start moving a little bit, right? Music is enjoyable. And this is why, in order to improve your English fluency, tip number 5 will help you so much. So what I'm going to show you right now, my friend, is one of the songs I loved growing up. The song is called Lost Without You by BB and CC Winans. Now, if you're watching this right now, I have the lyrics on the screen. And I am going to sing this song to you, part of this song to you. Again, it was one of my favorite songs growing up. Now, remember I said a few moments ago, yesterday, remember I said that? I was screaming at the top of my lungs for my niece. So my voice is still not 100, but I will happily sing this song to you. Again, speaking about the importance of listening to English music. Here we go. Okay. Lost without you. And then I'm going to break down some of the terms within the song. All right. Day by day, no more reaction. You are my center attraction. Every beat my heart beats is your song. From hurt and harm, you're my protection. The path I take is your direction. 'Cause I know with you I can't go wrong. Ever since that day I asked you into my heart, my world has changed, so promise me you'll never part. And now the chorus, you can join in if you'd like. 'Cause I'm lost without you. I had to change the keys. I told you I couldn't sing that high, my voice. Easy to see, I'm lost without you, and there's no letting go. So let me be the first to say. I'm gonna pause right there because I had to do falsetto right there because it got higher. But again, this was one of my favorite songs. Why did I show this to you as an example? Let me explain. There are so many expressions and terms in this song. Look at the very first expression that I want to show you. I'm lost without you. Now, wait a minute. Lost means that you don't know where you're going, right? Like, oh, I lost my dog. I don't know where he is. He doesn't know where his home is. So the song title is Lost Without You. It means when you're not in my life, I have no direction. If you're not with me, I won't know where to go. You caught it, right? Lost without you. Now, this song is talking about God, right? Then the other part that I want to explain to you again, day by day, normal reaction. You are my center attraction. Center. Now, center implies main. You're my main focus. Think about attraction as something that draws your attention, right? Something that draws your attention. I haven't even gotten to the chorus. And you see already there are terms that you can learn from this song. Center attraction. You're my main focus. You're the thing that draws my attention. This is why it's so important for you to utilize tip number 5. Listen to English music, good English music, something good, and analyze the lyrics. All right, let's keep going. So again, that was tip number 5. Now, before we get to tip number 6, I do want to remind you, each time I teach you something here on YouTube, or if you're listening to the podcast, I want you to also check out the app, English with Tiffani. Each and every week, I have lessons within the app that will help you practice what you're learning. My goal is to help you achieve your English goals. So all you have to do is download the app totally for free, English with Tiffani, and practice each and every week what you've learned here in this YouTube lesson or podcast lesson or episode. And each day there are other lessons as well. So I hope you enjoy the app, English with Tiffani. All right, tip number 6. Use English in daily tasks. One more time, use English in daily tasks. Let me break this down. It's important for you to incorporate English into routine tasks like shopping lists or to-do lists or diary entries. Think about your life. Think about the things you are already doing and try to integrate English or add English into those routines. Why is this so important? You see, this encourages thinking in English, and it makes language use a regular part of your day. We're talking about helping you improve your English fluency. This can only happen if you follow these tips and start to use English more and more throughout your daily life. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna help you a bit. Morning, afternoon, and evening. This is what I want you to do. In the morning, what you can do is you can describe what you are going to make for breakfast. Let's say, for example, in the morning, you enjoy eating eggs, maybe toast, and maybe you have an apple. Describe it. What type of apple do you like? Just to let you know, I love Fuji apples. True story. They're very hard, they're crisp, they're flavorful, they're delicious, right? I just described the apple. But what about your eggs? Maybe you like salty eggs. Maybe you like eggs with pepper. What about your toast? What do you put on your toast? Start describing something you already do. And what about the afternoon? In the afternoon, I want you to explain what you have accomplished so far. It doesn't matter if you are a stay-at-home mom, amazing by the way. Maybe a stay-at-home dad, also amazing by the way. Maybe you work in an office environment. Maybe you're a student. It doesn't matter what your occupation or what you do. Start describing what you did during the day, all right? Now, in the evening, this is what you're going to do. You're going to describe what you want to do tomorrow. This is going to help you as you think about the future and how to describe things that will happen in the future. This is going to help you improve your English fluency. Now, as a reminder, these tips, you can select which one or ones you want to use. You can change it up each and every day, but using these tips is going to help you improve your fluency. All right, tip number 7, very important. Stay persistent and patient. One more time. Stay persistent and patient. Listen closely. Recognize that language learning is a gradual process and requires consistent effort over time. I know that it's not easy. I know that it's challenging, but I need you to know that I believe in you because it is possible for you to achieve each and every one of your goals if you simply remain persistent and patient. Why is this important? This helps maintain motivation and resilience in facing challenges, ensuring long-term progress and success. So you're probably asking, Tiffani, how can I remain persistent and patient? Let me help you out, my friend. Here we go. First, your morning routine. You can choose a 15-minute block in the morning to study. Maybe you don't have a lot of time, but 15 minutes a day you can sacrifice in the morning. Perfect. Select that in the morning. Or maybe the mornings don't work for you. No problem. In the evenings, select a 15-minute block to study. But just remain persistent and patient. Whichever block of time you select, make sure you stick to that time. And maybe you have no time during the week. Totally okay. On Sundays, possibly. Choose a 30-minute block to study every Sunday. You can change the day. You can change the amount of time. The most important thing is for you to be persistent and patient. My friend, I hope you truly enjoy this lesson and I hope it helps you achieve your English goals. I'll talk to you in the next lesson. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. All right. This is one of my favorite stories to tell because it had such an impact on me as a woman, as a Christian, and just as a member of society. This happened when I was living in South Korea. So just to give you a bit of insight into who I am as a person, I love serving others. I have a heart for homeless people specifically. So whenever I see a homeless person or someone in need, I try to go out of my way to help them, either buying them food or giving them some change if I have some money in my pocket. And this was true when I was living in South Korea. So I remember one day I had just gotten off of the train and I was heading back to my apartment. And I was walking through the train station, an extremely large train station, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a homeless woman. Now, it was very easy to tell that she was homeless because it looked like she was wearing everything that she owned. And she unfortunately was not the cleanest. Her hair was a bit matted, her clothing tattered. She just was not in the best situation. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? Let me ask her if I can get her some food. So as I was walking towards her, she actually was walking towards me and she said, can you buy me some food? And I said, sure, tell me what you want. So as we're walking and I'm going to go buy her some food, she said, do you mind eating with me? And it was as if time stood still. Remember I said the train station was a very busy train station, a very large train station, and there were people walking everywhere, back and forth on my left side and my right side, and it was loud. But as soon as she said, ma'am, could you eat with me? It went immediately silent. And I looked at her. And in my mind, I said, I've never been asked this before. And I could see in her eyes that no one had really sat down to eat with her. I had time and I said, sure. So I went and I purchased some food for her and we sat down together. And she proceeded to tell me her life story. She had been one of the top execs at a very large corporation. She made lots of money, well over 6 figures. She was married, had children, had a very nice apartment, and then one day she lost her job and everything else. Her husband left her. He took the kids. She didn't have a job. And this is how she became homeless. And as I listened to her tell her story, I was thinking to myself, man, you know, we see people on the street. We encounter individuals, but we don't know their life stories. So it's so important for us to always be kind, to be considerate, and to never judge a book by its cover. In other words, we should never judge someone by the way they look. Instead, we should take the time to sit, have a meal with them, get to know them, and develop a relationship. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I'll talk to you in the next lesson.